one night, early 2016, my wife and I had an enormous argument. Absolutely the worst argument we'd ever had, and it was just the ugliest experience of my life. And woke up the next day and she was gone, and I knew she was going to be going right back into the same old, vices that we had both been in together before. And I kind of determined that it would probably be in my best interest to just not be a guy taking up space on planet Earth anymore. So I called, and I had my psychiatrist at the time call in my anti-anxiety medicine and my sleeping medication. I got that, and I went and got a fifth of 100 proof vodka, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. And after consuming all that with not eating right for days and everything else leading up to that should have killed me without any problem at all, I woke up. And I didn't just wake up. I wasn't dope sick. I wasn't even still drunk or really hungover. I was just awake, and I think that confused me more than anything. I was like, "How? I can't even die right." So I went into a mental health facility that I went in a few times, and I was like, I must be too crazy. Like, I'd gotten this perception there's something so badly wrong with me mentally that I can't even die. Like, I'm stuck. I'm trapped in this head. I've got to do something. And I went there, and their major thing was, let's get your medications right. And I'm not trying to come against medication or anything like that. If you feel like you should take some, if you strongly believe that's your prerogative. But I was hearing the same old things. We'll get this right. And I knew there was as far as me trying to live and take any kind of pharmaceuticals the right way, I knew that wasn't going to happen. So it came time to leave, and my wife and I weren't really on speaking terms because of the big, fallout that we'd had. I'd never really gotten along with her parents anyway, with her dad and her stepmom, and I didn't have anywhere to go. And I remembered a lady that I actually played in a band with her brother. And I was like, she just opened up a sober living home, and I was like, maybe I can go there and just crash a night or two. And I had a cousin that lived out of state, and he was going to get me a ticket to come and try to get me a job with him. And my thing was, I'm going to work to get my life straightened out, which is probably, out of all the things I've done, is probably the most hilarious idea that I had, that I was going to be able to do anything. But I got a hold of her, and she's like, I don't know. She's like, let me see. And I was like, I'll sleep on the couch. I just need somewhere to stay as a jump off point to get here and get a job and get things straightened out. I went, and with the intention of staying a night. And when I got there, was just met by love from other dudes that were broken, that were, most of which I believe were felons at that point. But just loved me. Some of them I kind of knew. One of them I'd went to school with. But overall, guys I didn't know, they were just ready to talk to me and stuff that I did not want to do because I was not ready to people at that point. But later on that evening, there was a guitar there, and we went and got some strings, and I played a little while, and I was like, that's the worst I'd ever played, because you get this thing in your mind that, the drunker I am, or the more complex substances I'm on, the better I am playing music. And there were people with tears in their eyes that just absolutely loved the experience of hearing me sing and play. I'm like, what's going on? And that's, at that point, I was told that I wasn't going to be allowed to leave. I say that humorously, but that they wanted me to stay, and they needed a worship leader. I hadn't fallen away from the Lord, from where I'd been. I just didn't understand what it meant to have a relationship with the Lord. The only faith, the only trust or hope I had whatsoever was in the Lord. But that being said, I didn't know what that meant. It was blind faith, and I guess that's maybe why from that point on things really drastically started changing. Went back home that night, and I was just tore all to pieces because people were being nice to me, and it wasn't because I had something they wanted or because we were doing the same thing or drinking the same thing. It was just genuinely there was a feeling there. They wanted to help each other, and they wanted to help me. There was awkwardness there, but there was something different. we got back to the house. We'd been out that evening, and I was like, guys, I need you to pray for me. I was like, you know, I believe in Jesus. The only faith I have in anything at this point is Jesus. But I really, really, you know, I miss my family. And I want to see, you know, I want to be in a situation where my family be put together, you know. And, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, God, I've seen people healed of illnesses that should have killed them. I've seen crazy things happen when I was young. I've seen, you know, prophetic words come to pass before my eyes. The least you can do is let me have my family back. I was like, you know, I need prayer that I will get to the point where I realize there's an image that I was made to be in. You know, I knew and understood enough on an intellectual level about God that, you know, as a kid, I was always struck by the scripture that we were made in the image and likeness of God, that I was made to be, you know, and the whole story of Adam, that Adam was made to be the God of this earth at one point, and you know, he was given dominion over everything, and God made Adam in his image to basically to reflect himself into what we know to be existence. And I was like, I need prayer to whatever it takes to get me to that point. And they prayed for me. While they were praying for me, I was just crying. I felt wind, like a cold wind, just go from like the floor to the top of my head, and I just was bawling. The prayer was over. Thanks, guys. I went up to the bathroom in the house. I knelt down at the bathtub and turned on Johnny Cash gospel album that I had on my. That's all I knew about gospel music at that point. I knew Johnny Cash sang it, so that's what my go-to. And I just cried, and I cried, and it was the hottest tears that ever come out of my face. And I was like, God, I don't know if I've messed things up too bad to ever have anything close to what you had intended for my family to be. I was like, but I know how I feel right now, and I know that in the most broken point in my life where, you know, I'd already, there's people that I went to school with that had overdosed and died by this point, or been shot. And I was like, you know, whatever it means, if it means never getting them back, if I can just feel this connection with you for the rest of my life, then I'll do whatever you want me to do. And then from there, you know, within 4 months, I think, Andrea and my little girl at the time were able to come, and we were able to have our first apartment that we'd had after being homeless for so many years. I was able to help her get delivered, you know, and it was the same kind of thing. It was that, you know, just that crazy faith that I don't have anything else to fall back on. If there's anything that I could ever pass along, that I could ever impart as far as anything knowledge or wisdom wise could be concerned, is and I know it's cliche almost, but we pray God for God to break our walls down, and the whole time we're our plan B is, well, if they don't fall this time, this is what I'll do until next time. I encourage you to step out on the kind of faith that this is it. It's not a do or die so much as it is a glory. Or are you happy with where you're at? Are you ready for that next level of glory? And the glory is all His. So are you happy with where you are, with what's left of you, or are you ready to be taken into a deeper place and be made more like Him? To not let my traditions or opinions, as much as, you know, I could be upset, and I guess I could be like some people and scream church hurt. But to remember that there are times that I've been put in situations now where I may have not agreed with something, or I may have thought something was too religious, or maybe not religious enough. But to remember that Paul says, as long as Christ is lifted up, I have to believe that as long as Jesus is lifted up, people are still being drawn to that goodness. That it's His kindness that draws for repentance. And to always, Billy Graham says, it's God's job to judge people, the Holy Spirit's job to convict people, and my job to love people. By no means does that mean I consent to anything sinful. That's not what that means at all. It just means that if I try to do anything of myself to try to do anything other than love somebody, whatever I do is going to come from the wrong place and it'll fail. So if I can share anything with you from where I've been on death's door a few times, I'm sure, completely without my family, laying on a bathroom floor, trying to stay as close as possible with what blankets we could get people to give us, hoping we could bum a sandwich off somebody the next day. If there's anything from that to where I am now that I could give any advice or any kind of word of encouragement, it's just let God be God. And knowing that despite there is the Romans 7's existence of realizing that I myself was quite a wretched human being, that there's no condemnation now. If I fall, I get up. It's not an excuse to stay and wallow around in what I fell in, but I get up. And above all, that I always heard in church when people get really excited, they would start quoting. It's an Old Testament passage that Paul quotes, that eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor entered into the heart of man what God has in store. But in the new covenant, that's been revealed to us by His Spirit. So if there's something that I haven't seen or something that I need to know about the person of God, I need to stop seeking what answer will satisfy me intellectually and just seek for that satisfies my soul. It's just that communing with Him, that fellowship with Him. And I love you guys, and that's it. I guess that's it.